right? Now, how do I use this in Selenium? Suppose I make a new class called multi browsers. Fine. Now later on what we'll do is, when we do the actual testing, we keep the data in the Excel files. Fine. We'll make a string called, say, browser type. I name it Mozilla. But later on what we'll do is, we will read this thing from an Excel file or a properties file, whatever it is. Fine. Right now I'm putting it over. That means I want to work on Mozilla. Okay. Now I can write in Selenium, I can write like this: WebDriver driver equals to new Firefox driver. Most of you might have seen this line. If you have ever tried to work on Selenium, you must have seen this line. Now what is this? I am writing the WebDriver interface equals to new class Firefox driver, which actually implements this interface. So with this object I can call all the functions in the WebDriver interface which are implemented in the Firefox driver class. Right? Fine. If I just similarly I can write over here WebDriver driver equals to new Chrome driver as well, or IDE driver, whatever you want. Fine. Now I will use this technique itself to work. Now from the Excel file, tomorrow the browser name can change. It can change to Chrome, it can change to IE. Fine. Now my code should be dynamic enough that even if it changes in the Excel file, I don't have to change the code. The same code should work on all the browsers. Okay. So what I'll do is, I'll put, suppose, Mozilla here, and I will write over here WebDriver driver equals to null. Null means that this driver reference is pointing towards no object in the memory. It is not pointing towards any object, right? So, and I'll write over here that if the browser type is equal to Firefox, then driver equals to new Firefox driver. Else if the browser type is equals to like Chrome, fine, then you set the system property, that is system dot set property WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver, and give the value to the exe. That is, in my PC, as I had told you yesterday, somebody was pinging me yesterday that the exe is not working. I'm not sure, because I was also a bit busy after the class because the recording had crashed, so I couldn't attend to it. But I hope that person, I think she was some girl, I don't remember, I hope she was able to do it. If you're not able to do it, then please let me know, right? So this is the exe file path which you have to give. Fine. And after that you type driver equals to new Chrome driver. Else if the browser type is equal to IE, fine, then you start IE, you give the property file path, okay, the exe path, iDriver.exe, and just type over here driver equals to new internet Explorer driver. Fine. Or you can also put Safari, that is else if browser type is equals to Safari. You need to be registered with Safari as a developer, Apple developer only, then you can work with it. I am registered with it. So I will initialize my driver, that is Safari driver. Fine. So suppose browser type is Chrome. I change from here. So that particular browser will open. If you run this, you'll see that a Chrome is open. I'll just answer your question. You see that Chrome opens up. Now similarly, if I change my browser to Safari and I run this, so server is started and this is the Safari driver which is opening up. There is some bug in this driver because of which this page comes up. It's an officially registered bug. Safari driver is still a little unstable right now. It is not so stable, right? Question being asked is, if interface does not know the implementation class, how we know about the implemented method? If interface is not knowing the implementation class method, I'm not sure about this question. I'm not able to get it. Just a minute. Interface does not know the. Look, interface is. It's not necessary that interface should know which class is implementing it. It will just tell that this is the interface. Fine, you will just know that this is the interface, and there is a class which will be implementing this interface. You just need to know the names of classes which are implementing the interface. You can refer the Java docs. From the Java docs, if you open an interface, you will always get the classes which are implementing this interface. Okay, so you really don't have to worry about that. It is mentioned in the documentation. I would request you to keep your microphones on mute. Fine. Okay. Now, going forward, this was the code which I made. Fine. Now, one more question was being asked. Why don't I give it for Firefox? It's been designed like that. For except Firefox, all the other browsers have got drivers. Safari has also not got any driver. You just have to install the certificate and all. Right? So there is a Safari driver extension which you need to install in the Safari browser after registering with Apple as a developer. I'm not going into depth with Safari driver because it is not stable, so stable as of now. But for Chrome IE and Safari, there are drivers, but for Mozilla, we don't have any exe file or something like that. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, after writing this code, if I write over here driver dot get, say HTTP, some website, say ebay.com. Fine. If you run this, then the code will, like we saw yesterday, the code will actually navigate to eBay. Fine. You'll see this website opening, the eBay website. Okay. Now suppose I want to type in something in this input field. Right? Or I have to interact with the elements on the page. How do I do that? Fine. How do I interact with the elements on the page? Well, for doing that, you first need to understand how a web page is made. because Selenium as a tool, suppose I go to Gmail homepage or whatever it is, right? Selenium as a tool, it works on the page source. If you right click on it and you go to the page source, Selenium will always work on the page source. It works, it reads the tag names and all everything in the HTML and it works on that. Okay, now to actually understand how Selenium works, you need to know HTML language. I would recommend everybody that if you are serious enough to learn this tool, then you go to this website. It's just an investment of half an hour that will make your life very easy in Selenium. Just read the HTML basics till this point, that's it, not more than that. Initial few topics, that is how the elements are formed in HTML. This site is very good. It's got try it yourself example as well, wherein, hold on, a lot of people have been benefit from this site. You can edit anything on the page over here and you can make the HTML code and you can submit the code and that thing will reflect it here. So you can actually learn HTML. It is very, very important. Fine. Now I'll give you an overview. I'll give you an overview now. Okay. Hold on. Before that, there's a question. All the methods of browsers are same for different browsers. Else all will have to create different objects for you. Yes, all the methods are same. That's why they are same, because you just have to initialize the driver instance. Fine, you just have to point this driver to the kind of browser you want and use the same functions after this. Fine. Okay. Now let's like discuss this thing. Fine. If you go back, let's talk about Selenium RC. Okay. Let's talk. Let's talk about Selenium RC. Okay. So out here, just a minute. Yeah. Fine. So if you look at this, I'll make a HTML, I'll make an Excel file. Components.xls. Okay. On a HTML page, there are various types of components. Okay. For example, I'll write over here component and tag name. Just hold on, you'll come to know what I'm doing. Mandatory attributes, optional attributes. Fine. On a HTML page, you have got these kinds of four things. For example, if you talk about components, then you have got links, you have got input fields, you have got button, then radio button, checkboxes, then you have drop downs, right? So then you have normal text as well on the page, you have got images. Fine. These are the visible components on the page, okay, which are visible to us. Fine. Okay. Now apart from this, there are other components as well which are not visible to the normal eye. For example, there are web tables, if you know about them, right? There are frames, Okay, these type of things, they are not there. Okay, so just a minute, it's being told upload file. It's again it's just a button over there. Upload file is actually a button. Okay, yeah, you can say it's a different component. File input is upload, you can tell it, yeah, it's a upload, right? So there are various components, and every component has a tag name, a set of mandatory and optional attributes associated with. Fine, so just a minute. Yeah, you can join now. Okay, so there are components on every page, and hold on, if you open up Firefox, right, the first thing which you need to do is that in order to investigate the page, now in Selenium the identification of all the components, they start from investigating the page, right? In order to investigate the page, you need to install a tool known as Firebug, which most of you might have installed, right? I'll just tell you about the installation of Firebug. That is, you need to go to google.com and just type download Firebug. Okay, guys, just a minute. Yeah, so you can go to this link, download Firebug, click on that. It is an add-on for Firefox. Open it up in Firefox. Okay, open this page on Firefox, and depending on your version, like you can click on this button, add to Firefox, it will be installed in Firefox, and you can restart Firefox. And when you restart it, you'll get an icon over here on the top left side of top right side of the page. Fine, if you click on it, it will actually be like this. It will be like this, and there'll be an arrow out here. Okay, if you click on this arrow and if you move your mouse on the page, right, you will actually see stuff coming up over here. Okay, you will see, hold on, you go to the HTML tab and you will see the HTML code coming up out here. Okay, so you can investigate the page with this. This is just like similar to, not exactly science, this is similar to uh, spy in QTP, if anybody has seen QTP, right? Okay, now we use this in Firefox to identify our elements on the page. Technically the elements in automation, we call them objects, right? This text is an object, this link is an object, this button is an object, everything we call as an object. We use this to actually identify the objects. Okay, are you guys able to hear me? Because I guess Rajesh is telling me that he's not able to hear me. Sorry, Rakesh. Okay, all right. Now, fine. So, within Firebug, you can investigate your page like this. In Chrome, if you open up Chrome, and after opening Chrome, hold on. Suppose I go to the site. Uh, just a minute. This Chrome is not opening. Yeah, I go to the home page of Gmail. Fine, and just a minute. Right, and I want to investigate any component on this page.